Can you believe we're in the 30th season of Apollo's Fire?
I was just starting out on my career, and I met this girl, Jeannette Sorrell, at BPI.
Yeah.
And she just came up, I'm going to start my own orchestra.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that sounds cool. So,
Sure, I'll play.
Yeah. So I was really excited, and the setting was
Beautiful sheep barn.
bucolic.
Yes, request by bucolic.
Yes, and it was a really amazing experience all around. I mean, it was like one of my first orchestra gigs.
Yeah, and it was the Mozart Requiem, remember? And there were no flutes, so I sang in the alto section, which was also an incredible experience for me.
So, Miho, when we played that debut concert, Mozart Requiem, in a barn 30 years ago, I'm really curious, what did you think?
That was the first time that I think Cleveland audience have heard the gut strings.
The gut strings.
Yeah. So in the early days, I was just wondering about how audience was receiving it.
I wondered too.
Yeah, that was while I was playing.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And so the early years, you always talked, I would bring both instruments and then show them and.
The difference between Baroque bow and modern bow and
And then you made it so fun, the question that you always had, but afraid to ask or something.
Oh, yes,
You
that's
remember
right.
that?
Everything you wanted to know about the instruments, but you were afraid to ask.
Yeah.
That's right, we used to do that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time we did Mozart? Well, I wasn't in the Requiem, so.
Oh, yeah, that's the first concert
first
was,
concert.
the very first concert
Yeah,
was Mozart,
yeah.
And that also made me, it's typical Jeannette, in Holland we say start small, but she started big.
With big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
But I remember the first time for me playing Mozart on gut strings and how intimidating it was because I didn't grow up playing like the Passions, but in college, of course, I played all the symphonies on the steel strings, which are much smaller than the gut strings.
And much more tension.
Yeah, now I love the gut strings, but at the time they just felt like
Well, of course, yeah.
they're 2 or 3 times thicker than these steel strings.
Yeah, and speaking, it's hard, getting the string to speak, of course.
Right. Well, now I know that if you just let the string work, then it just works.
Yeah.
It just works.
One of the things that I think is really cool that patrons who come and hear Apollo's Fire for the first time, they typically come and see maybe, 16 or 17 musicians on stage, and they're surprised how loud we are. But I think the reason we're loud in the right kind of hall is because if you're playing, pure thirds, straight tone, no vibrato, and really in tune, we set up overtones. Yeah, and so the overtones are ringing, and it amplifies the sound in a very natural way.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. When I see that age group now, they were so young, and then we were that.
Yeah.
We were fearless, and just whatever. We have everything. Why not?
Let's
why
play
not
the
do
Mozart
this?
Requiem in a barn.
Yeah, why not? So it's a lot of excitement, a little bit experimental, but fearless.
Yeah.
Really
I
fun.
think I felt fearless because I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I had no job, no prospects, and I figured I'll do this for a couple of years until it dies, and then I'll find something else to do. That was kind of how I felt about it. So there was nothing to worry about because I had nothing.
I didn't expect it to last 30 years, not because I expected it not to last 30 years, but just because I didn't have any expectation.
yeah.
You play music and then, you see what
Right.
happens. And
It's not so much that it's lasted 30 years, but it's more than just lasted.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten to do amazing tours. We have the best home audience that you could ask for. I mean, I almost like playing at home more than the tours because I love seeing our audience. And the recordings, we haven't just had 30 years of concerts.
yeah,
It's been
it was a
more
growth
than that.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that Jeannette started a group in Cleveland when she did, and that the group continued to exist year after year, and each year I thought maybe this is going to be it, but each year it got bigger and we got more funding, and then we started touring, and more great musicians came to play with us, and we started getting amazing reviews. And
Yeah, I guess I was a little shocked that the touring really took off at one point.
Yeah.
You know, it seemed like one year we were doing our nice little season in Cleveland, and then all of a sudden we're going to Europe and,
Yeah.
all over the place, and it just kind of exploded. At
Yeah.
least that's what I'm remembering
That's
now.
how it felt.
And how fun to be able to go over there and play in all those wonderful halls. and-
amazing.
yeah.
Jeanette's taken me places that I've never been before. Yes, absolutely.
And I love it that Tom and Martin's carry my bass everywhere for me on a tour, and I get to fly. And that is really nice.
Tom and Martins are the best
They're so good,
ever
yeah.
worked with.
I tease them that if my bass isn't in tune when I get it, I'm like, what's the matter? It should be in tune, because they're so good.
Also, you cared so much about not only musicians, but also the audience, like how they
Yeah.
receive and how they would understand.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that, because I just feel that that's what our job is. I mean, we're playing music for an audience that has bought tickets, and it surprises me that I guess not everybody looks at it that way. Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
think that that's normal, right? That's
Yeah.
not. That's really you.
I do think that the whole experience matters, you know. That's something that struck me when I was a student in Europe, and I went to some concerts that were in beautiful historic chapels, and, there might be some antique candles that have been lit, or, various ways of making the ambiance fit the music. And I think that's a really important part of the whole concert experience.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that in Apollo's Fire, when the audience members come to us and say, "You look like you guys are having such a good time," we are. We really are having a good time on stage.
We really are. It's just an amazing group of people.
Thanks for being my continual partner.
Thanks for being mine. Yeah, that was, I'm so blessed in that.
Yeah, me too. Because we play every note together.
Every,
99% of the
Notes,
notes together.
It feels like just making music with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You bring the most special people together, like kind of like making the ingredients work for the best cuisine. So-